I joke sometimes with a friend of mine that, her niche is Gen Y. It's like her niche, her specialized focus is the largest generation in the history of the planet. Now that sounds kind of comical, but the reality is, if you Google financial planning for millennials, her website shows up at #1, and she gets a couple new clients every month from Google. And I don't know very many other advisors who can actually legitimately say, my primary source of business is Google. I just wait for them to hit my website and ask to do business. But that's literally how she gets almost all of her clients. Like, niches are that powerful. And I think certainly there's potential in that context for retirement planning as well. It's no coincidence that when American College launched its RICP, its Retirement Income Certified Professional designation, it was the fastest growing designation in the history of their education organization. I mean, they've been around for 100 years. They're the folks that created the CLU originally. The pressure is on now to find some kind of niches and some kind of specialization. As long as the market is large enough, there can be lots of people in it. I mean, frankly, there can be thousands of advisors focusing on millennials. There's about 80 million millennials in the U.S. You ain't going to run out of clients anytime soon. And the same is true for retirement income planning and baby boomers. You can go broadly into retirement income planning. You can even focus down into segments from there. You could be a firm that just specializes in doctors selling their medical practices and retiring. And if you know how to do buy-sell agreements for doctors and how to show the young doctors to finance the purchase and how the old doctor can get out and have their $3 million liquidity event, guess who gets to manage the $3 million retirement income portfolio when you finish helping the doctor through that transition? So I think you're seeing that retirement income planning is one of many niches that's out there. It happens to be a particularly popular one right now, and I think will be for a while, because for all of us who are attached to the asset under management model, if you're going to run an AUM model in a niche, you do need a niche that has piles of assets to manage. And retirees with liquidity events and rollovers that occur at the retirement transition are certainly an excellent transition point. But it can also be closely held business owners and executives. I mean, anybody that has retirement-related liquidity events. You can even have sub-niches within the retirement planning niche to excel. But if you want to succeed in this kind of environment, you can't just say, well, I try to generate referrals by serving my clients with above average service using holistic financial planning advice and all of our years of experience and our credentials. Because that's what everybody else is doing now. And you just won't stand out. Even if it's worked for you in the past, you were differentiated in the past. You're not anymore. The marketplace is caught up, and it's time to move on to the next value propositions. And the next value propositions are all about getting deeper with more specificity about who you really serve and who you specialize in, because that's what makes you truly referable. It's not work with my advisor because he gives great service. It's work with my advisor. He did everybody at the company when they retired. He's worked with every single executive who's retired out of the company. So you're getting ready to retire now. Like, you really got to call him. You should see the workout strategy he had for our stock options and restricted stock plan. Like, that's an actionable recommendation, way more than work with my advisor. He or she is great. That's the environment and the transition point we're at.
Michael, maybe we can go just a little bit deeper. We're getting near the end, but go a little bit deeper on
Sure.
this. So I know a lot of advisors who say, I've got a retirement income strategy. So that may be time segmented, that may be some type of glide path or some kind of approach. Is it enough anymore to say, I've got a retirement income investment strategy, or if you're going to stake out this as a niche, and we've got Stephanie Bogan who's going to join us next month to talk about, how you articulate this value and communicate it. But is it enough just to have that investment strategy, or is there more that you should be doing if you're going to stake out retirement income planning as a niche?
Well, I mean, if you really want to focus down to just saying we do retirement income planning and that's our thing, and we just kind of put the blinders on and focus on the portfolio and generate you some retirement cash flows, I think that's valid. I think that's a legitimate option, but you are putting yourself in competition with every single large asset manager that's rolling out some version of a retirement income product at some point, either already or in the coming years. We're talking about it on the call, but believe it or not, multi-trillion-dollar asset managers have also kind of figured out retirement's a good place to be. And so they're making retirement income products as well. Which is why, again, I think the better path to this is that even if you want to be in a retirement income planning space, that can be one of the features that you have, and one of the benefits that you achieve is you help people to generate their retirement income cash flows. But I think you still want to try to be deeper and more differentiated than that. So, being a retirement income specialist, particularly for doctors that are going through the retirement transition, or particularly for executives, or for entrepreneurs that have had a liquidity event, but it's not actually retirement for them, it's financial independence, so that they need to set aside some money to live off of so they can take the rest of the money and reinvest it into the next adventure because they're serial entrepreneurs and that's what they do. And being able to help them with that deeper level of advice that's more specific to their needs than just being a retirement income specialist, because you put yourself in competition with packaged retirement income products. Or even if you still want to be a quote unquote retirement generalist, that still means you need to know more than just retirement income planning. That means you need to know retirement planning. And real retirement planning means all the things that matter to retirees. So for all the knowledge you have about retirement income products, you should have just as much knowledge about Social Security. And you should have just as much knowledge about Medicare, because guess what? When people retire, they're kind of anxious about how they're going to keep their health insurance. And if you can't answer that question, they don't really give a crap about your fancy retirement income strategy, because they're not going to retire uninsured. So if you can't figure out their retirement income strategies, you can't help them with, if you can't figure out their health insurance strategies in retirement, you can't help them with their retirement income. And so we can go through all the different issues that really crop up that are challenged in the real world for retirees. What's my housing arrangement going to look like? Am I going to age at home or not? How do I do changes to my home if I want to age in place, or if I don't, I want to move? Like, where am I going to move, and what does that look like, and how do I make that transition? And should we do it to a continuing care retirement community or not? Do you know much about those? Can you explain how they work and their pros and cons and how to pick one? Like that's what true retirement specialization means. And I think that the trap even that some advisors have gotten themselves into in saying they're trying to be retirement specialists is they're too specific to just the retirement income product, and they're not speaking to all of the issues of a retiree's needs, because the niche isn't the product. The niche is the person who needs it, and the person who needs it usually needs more than just a product. They need all the advice about the retirement transition and living their lives in retirement. And so it's got to serve them for all the things that they need, not just the one retirement income product you might want to plug in as part of the